Okay, hello Cloud Gurus. How y'all doing? My name is Scott Fletcher.
And I'm Nick Trantafilu, and we're here in Las Vegas for DeepRacer, the fast and the curious.
We are going to be covering the DeepRacer finals.
How did you do? This year at reInvent, A Cloud Guru came in hot and heavy. Our booth looked great, our swag was on point, and ACG instructors delivered no less than 7 educational sessions. We even had a group that woke up at the crack of dawn on Wednesday for the 4 and 8 kilometer run, me being one of them.
On Monday, ACG personalities Ryan Kroonenberg and Faye Ellis were invited as guest judges for the AWS nonprofit Hackathon for Good. I even had an opportunity to share my hackathon story with the teams and officially kick off the event. Excellent event, and big thanks to AWS for the invitation.
But enough about that. You and I both know you're here for one reason: DeepRacer. Tuesday brought the first real DeepRacer runs with the top 64 racers battling it out. The top 64 were divided into 4 groups, and each group had a staggered call time. When it was time for the groups to run, the racers were spread across 4 tracks, and each had a chance to race for 4 4-minute runs. The top 4 times in each group would move on to the next elimination round, the top 16. Ryan did quite respectable across all of his runs, being very consistent but just not fast enough to crack the top 4 in Group A.
While getting ready for my run in Group B, I had a chance to talk with some racers from Liberty Mutual. They were one of the few wildcard teams to be invited to the event.
I'm here with a couple of racers from Liberty Mutual. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey, how you got to this event?
Liberty Mutual hosted its own internal company tournament, and it's something we'd been talking about in work. We saw the updates from AWS, and luckily our manager at the time knew we were interested, so we got entered. And every step of the way, we just about got through.
My model got us through the first stage, then it would fail, then Glenn's would get us to the next stage.
Yeah.
Both of you all have an interesting story. You didn't start out as machine learning experts. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Have we finished as experts?
I wouldn't consider us to be machine learning experts, but then you look at all the hyperparameters and how much we know about each of them, and the different algorithms that they use, and I think there's a lot of knowledge there.
So you're Irish. What makes your model especially Irish?
Luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish is great.
The number of times our model has just got through on the last run.
Yeah.
So, very important question. If you happen to win, can you demonstrate your victory dance?
So I'll imagine it. So top 3, leaderboard.
6.8 seconds.
Oh. Did we win?
Thank you guys very much for your time,
Yeah,
and good luck out there on the racetrack.
Soon enough, it was my turn to race. To be honest, my very first run was really good. The model I was using was trained for about 10 hours altogether. I started with a simple reward function to encourage speed, staying on the track, and minimize steering angle. I then trained it across all the virtual summit tracks and the reInvent 2019 track for about an hour each to give it lots of diverse experience. And for a first-time run in a physical car on a new track, I was pretty surprised. I was able to get consistent lap after lap, clocking in a time of around 10.9.
After that first run, things went downhill for Scott. He wasn't able to replicate the stability he saw on the first track and was just never able to improve. He even changed to other experimental models, but with no luck.
My fourth and last run of the day was just horrible. Same exact model as my first run, but there must have been something different about the track, the lighting, the car, electromagnetic fields. Whatever the reason, I soon realized that run would be my last of the 2019 DeepRacer season. I ended up 5th in my group.
Meanwhile, at the track right beside Scott, world record holder Sola was setting new track records. She would ultimately go on to win the whole event. Now, the race was not without some controversy because of how the groups shook out. Some of the top 16 fastest racers were left outside looking in on the final 16. This was because the top 4 times in each group went on. For example, we talked to one such racer who goes by the handle Breadcentric.
We are here live at reInvent with a very famous person in the community of DeepRacer, Thomas.
Hi.
Tell me about your alias, Breadcentric, on the platform or on the Slack channel.
So yeah, I'm all about bread. So bread-centric.
Okay, all right. So unfortunately, like me, we're both losers. We got eliminated yesterday. But if you were to win, or if you had won, can you demonstrate your victory dance?
Thank you.
Well, Wednesday came, and while the group of 16 races were being held, the elusive Nick Cool and I laid down some experience on how ACG ran our own DeepRacer meetup in Melbourne earlier this year.
If you're hosting an event, you need space bigger than just the track.
We're going to need like a bit of a collaboration space over here where people can just talk about DeepRacer, compare ideas and so on. You'll also need an area for staging, so somewhere where you can charge the cars, get the models loaded.
See, he's really not a puppet after all.
Ultimately, the fastest racers landed the top 3 positions, and on Thursday morning, a winner was crowned.
One thing that we found again and again throughout the season and during the championship races is that performance is highly dependent on lighting. For example, in the finals, the times were significantly slower than they were in the more well-lit areas of the group of 64 and the group of 16 races.
With the announcement of the DeepRacer Evo, equipped with stereoscopic vision and LiDAR, I'm sure we'll see lighting become less of an issue as racers learn to use these new features to create smarter models.
Now, the DeepRacer Championship trophy may have eluded us this year, but we still had an amazing time participating in the inaugural DeepRacer League and taking y'all along on our journey. So to celebrate, Nick Triantafilo and I attended the AWS certification reception in style.
Thank you for joining us for this season of DeepRacer, the Fast and the Curious. I'm Scott.
I'm Nick.
And keep being awesome, Cloud Gurus.